The Sony ZV-E10 was one of the most recommended YouTube cameras for years, but now it's 2026. Cameras have improved a lot, phones are incredibly good, and newer cameras are packed with AI features. So the real question is the Sony ZV-E10 still a smart buy today, or is it starting to feel outdated? In this video, we're going to break it down, what this camera still does really well, where it's starting to show its age, and who it actually makes sense for today. And stick around till the end because I'll show you one setting that can drastically improve the footage from this camera. There's a simple reason why this camera became so popular. Sony essentially built the camera specifically for content creators. It gives you a large APS-C sensor, which simply means the camera can capture more light and more details compared to a phone camera. You also get interchangeable lenses, meaning you can swap lenses depending on what you're filming. Wide shots, portraits, product shots, and more. And all of that comes in a compact body that's relatively affordable. Now, for people starting YouTube or upgrading from a phone, that combination made the ZV-E10 extremely appealing. Even today, the image quality still holds up very well. The camera uses a 24 megapixel APS-C sensor. In simple terms, that's a fairly large sensor that captures a lot of details and performs well in different lighting conditions. It records 4K video up to 30 frames per second, which means the video resolution is very high and looks sharp on modern screens. One reason the footage looks especially detailed is something called oversampling. Oversampling simply means that the camera actually captures more details than it needs, then shrinks that information down to produce the final 4K video. Think of it like taking a very large photograph and resizing it smaller. The results usually looks cleaner and sharper. If you want more flexibility when editing your footage later, the camera includes picture profiles like S-Log and HLG. These recording modes keep more details in bright areas and shadows, so you can adjust the colors later during editing. But image quality isn't actually the main reason why creators choose this camera. The feature that really made the ZV-E10 stand out is the autofocus. Autofocus simply means that the camera automatically keeps your subject sharp. The ZV-E10 includes eye autofocus, which allows the camera to detect your eyes and keep them in focus even if you move around. For solo creators filming themselves, this is extremely useful. You don't have to constantly check whether you're in focus. The camera handles that for you. Sony also included several features specifically designed for content creators. For example, the camera has a flip-out screen so you can see yourself while recording and better frame your shot. It also includes a directional microphone with a windscreen, which helps you reduce wind noise when you're filming outdoors. There's also something called the product showcase mode. This is a feature that quickly shifts focus from your face to an object you hold in front of the camera. So if you're reviewing a product and you bring it towards the lens, the camera immediately focuses on it. And then when you move it away, it switches it back to your face. Another small but useful feature is the background defocus button. What this does is quickly create a background blur. In simple terms, it helps separate you from the background, so the subject stands out more in the frame. These small features might not sound dramatic, but together they make the camera much easier to use when you're filming alone. But the ZV-E10 isn't perfect, and there are a few things you should know before buying it. One thing the ZV-E10 doesn't have is in-body stabilization. Stabilization is technology that helps you smooth out shaky footage when you move the camera. Without it, handheld shots can look shaky. Now, this doesn't mean you can't shoot handheld with this camera. Many lenses have stabilization built in, and you can also use tripod or a gimbal. But compared to some newer cameras, this is definitely one area where the ZV-E10 shows its age. Another limitation is the frame rate in 4K. The camera records 4K video up to 30 frames per second. For most YouTube videos, this is completely fine, but some newer cameras now offer 4K at 60 frames per second, which gives you a smoother motion. The ZV-E10 also has something called rolling shutter. Rolling shutter happens when the camera reads the image from the sensor line by line instead of all at once. If you move your camera very quickly, vertical lines can appear slightly bent. Now, this usually isn't a big problem, especially for talking head videos, but it's something to be aware of if you plan to do fast handheld movement. Even with those limitations, the ZV-E10 still makes a lot of sense for many creators. If you're filming talking head videos, YouTube content reviews, tutorials, or online courses, this camera still performs extremely well. You get excellent autofocus, strong image quality, and access to Sony's huge ecosystem of lenses. And that lens ecosystem is actually one of the biggest advantages of this camera, because the lens you choose can dramatically change how your videos look. Things like background blur, sharpness, and the overall feel of the image. But before we get to lenses, there's one quick setting that can quietly improve the image quality from the ZV-E10. Inside the menu, there's a setting called Steady Shot. Steady Shot is Sony's stabilization system. In simple terms, it tries to smooth remove that shaky footage when the camera moves. On the ZV-E10 there's an option called active steady shot. Active stabilization works digitally. The camera processes the image to reduce shake. Now that can be very useful if you're filming handheld, but it comes with two trade-offs. First, it slightly crops the frame, which means the camera zooms in a little. And second, because the camera is digitally processing the footage, the image can become slightly softer. So if you're filming talking head videos like this, the camera is already on a tripod and you usually don't need active steady shots at all. Turning it off gives you a slightly wider frame and a cleaner image. It's a small change, but it's one of those settings that can quietly improve the footage without having to buy any new gear. Now, once you have your camera set up properly, the next thing that can make a much bigger difference to how your videos look is the lens you use. Changing the lens can completely transform your footage, background blur, sharpness, and the overall look of the image. In the next video, I'll show you two affordable lenses that can dramatically upgrade the Sony ZV-E10. And one of them is actually the lens that I personally use for my talking heads videos. So if you're thinking about buying the Sony ZV-E10, make sure you check out the next video I have coming up. And if you found value in this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.